Everyone, today we're going to talk about on this webinar referrals and building a referral system that actually works for your business. This, as you've seen it promoted, has been in your inbox because you are in an industry similar to the type of industry that we serve here at the Business Growers. We say managed services provider, but we all know that these principles can apply whether you're a telecom company, cybersecurity, doing IT in some way, shape, or form. So I did ask those that joined early to put a thumbs up in the chat if you've ever been. Hey, Terry, good to see you. If you've ever been to Mississippi. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you've ever been to Mississippi in the chat. I love to see it. My name is Laura Johns. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder and CEO of the Business Growers, and every month, typically around the third week of the month, we do a webinar centered on what types of questions that we are getting from either our clients or prospects, what we're hearing in the industry. And one of the big things that we hear often is, how do I get a better referral system? We get referrals, we love referrals. And so today we're going to talk about how to basically make your referral as an engine that's got a true system to it. Hey, Micah, good to see you. I'm going to share my screen. Give me a nod if you see my screen, my first slide of my screen before my haircut. Yep, everyone sees that. Okay, got a haircut this week, so I'm looking a little different. Some slides I'll have shorter hair, but so kind of, state of the market. Referrals do not work like they used to. Can anyone agree with that? Does anyone feel that these days? They don't work like they used to. We hear this all the time. Today, we're going to walk through a referral framework that's going to help you, whether you're an MSP, telecom company, really any B2B tech company, build a predictable and sustainable referral engine for your business. By the end of today's session, you're going to know how to take your current referral chaos that might just feel a little ad hoc and turn it into a system that's actually going to generate revenue for you. And then if you stick with me to the end and have not done this before, I'm going to give you access to a really, really great free opportunity. I've offered it only on one other webinar. So if you haven't been on a webinar or you haven't taken advantage of it, you don't want to miss that. So stick around till the end. And as always, these will be recorded and sent out after the webinar is over with. And our team, the lovely Anna and Grace on our team that are here today, give them a wave. Anna and Grace, excuse me. They're going to be getting this recording ready for you. So make sure your webcam is on if you're able to do that. Obviously, if you're driving, you don't have to do that. But I'm going to be checking in and asking questions throughout the webinar. So I'd love to see comments and chat and really want to hear you audibly. If you have a question or comment, feel free to throw it in the chat. And then we'll take time throughout the webinar and get these questions asked. And if you like what we discussed today and you're interested, unfortunately, you will see a lot of my face, but we give practical tips on our YouTube channel for your business all the time. I'm posting videos a lot. Just some of them are really quick and some of them are more lengthy, like these webinars. This is where all of our content goes. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you find this valuable. Okay, Laura, who are you and what makes you someone who should be talking to us on this webinar today? I know personally and firsthand how unpredictable referrals can feel because I once led marketing for a managed services provider for 9 years before I started the Business Growers. And I've been in this space since about 2005. My first career venture was actually working for a company that put a cellular module inside a smart meter or electric meter. So it was in the utility space before I started working for the managed services provider. But I've been in your seat. I understand the feast or famine cycle that sometimes happens when you're trying to, run a business and also grow a business. The grind of supporting a sales team as a marketer or a sales leader is very real, or an owner, founder. And referrals always seem to close the fastest. Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that. If you feel like, hey, a good referral closes a lot faster than a marketing or sales generated lead. I'd love to see if anyone thinks that or believes that as well. Also put a 2 in the chat if you feel like the referrals that you get stay the longest. If you're indifferent, you don't have to put a 2 in the chat, but I'd be interested. So 1, we know referrals close the fastest. 2, they typically stay the longest. So what I've done today is I'm going to show you a referral system that we've replicated for other clients of ours that proved to be truly a consistent way for managed services providers, telecom, B2B tech companies in general to systematically deliver those referrals and have some more predictability in that. So today, some ground rules. I'm going to ask for an audible yes or a yes in the chat at the end of this. So please be here now. You have taken the time. We're busy. I won't ask you to put a one in the chat if you're busy because I know we're all busy, right? So if you've taken the time to do this, then I just ask for your undivided attention. You can shut everything down, put the phones away, close the tabs, turn off those phones, and give this your attention because you've made a great decision to make an investment in your business today. And then the second thing is most of the people here today have different roles in the business. You might be a founder, you may be just a sales, sales or marketing leader. And I don't really know where everyone sits. Some of you may run really, really large operations and businesses. Some of you might be, a 1 or 2 man shop. So there's probably something that everyone can learn today, but some of this stuff that I talk about, you may say, you know what, Laura, I've been there, I know that. I just ask that you put your participant hat on today. Be here as a learner and think of this as an opportunity to go deeper and flesh things out further in your business. So plan to participate fully. If you are willing to do that, please put yes in the chat or give me an audible yes if you're willing to do that. Would love that. Thumbs up. Yep. Okay. Now we're going to talk about why you're here. This is a bit of a referral reality check is what I call it. Referrals used to be really simple. You did a really good job and people referred you. Very easy, right? Here's really, what the data says about referrals today. The market is a lot noisier than it was 20 years ago. People are more distracted. I'm more distracted for one. I've got things coming at me. We're all busy. We're all distracted. We're living in a very distracted society. So trust has to be earned differently. So we can't really think of referrals today the same way that we were getting referrals 20 years ago. There's a lot more, I would say, hoops to jump through sometimes. So trust has to be earned differently. If you see here, the data says, and this is among, companies just like yours, referred customers have a 16% higher lifetime value in your business. If you have a structured referral program, you are going to get more consistent revenue from your referrals. It's just facts. 80% higher. We a few minutes ago we addressed. Some of you put a one in the chat. 80% close rate with referrals versus 3.3% through kind of some traditional marketing that you're doing. Higher average order value. Typically, your referred customers are spending more on their initial purchase and giving you a higher customer lifetime value. And that trust instilled by the referring party tends to result in greater confidence for that purchase decision. So this is really not, honestly, a marketing webinar today. It's about systems. So if you came to only hear about marketing, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about systems today. So the old school strategy relied on one thing. Can anybody guess what it is? Hope. A whole lot of hope. And you might still be, this might still be you. You might still just be, and I've got a photo of a guy that might look like some of you on the call today here in just a minute. You'll have to tell me if you feel like he looks like you. But, you hope they remember you. You hope they mention your name at lunch. You hope the client that loves you keeps referring because you got this one guy that keeps sending you business and you're praying and hoping. But hope does not scale, unfortunately. I wish that it did. And today's, like I said, today's a distracted market. So you're building a referral system is what you should, it's not, oh, I get referrals. It's, hey, how can we build a referral system? So here are some typical reasons. I won't read them all, but you can look at them here. Some typical reasons why these old school, kind of more traditional tactics are not going to work today. These are nice to do, and it doesn't mean that they're dead. It just means this is not a system. If you're doing any of these things on the left, this is not a referral system that you're building. This is, essentially us depending on hope to get us the number that we need to get to that month. And that's what we're trying to eliminate today. Does this guy look like any of you? I don't know. I don't know, but if you feel like you have a referral problem, I just want to change your mindset today. If you get referrals, but you're always waiting around hoping for the next one, then it's not a referral problem that you have. It is a referral system problem that you have. So if you're doing good work, and we're going to talk here in just a minute about the modern referral process, And this is going to probably hurt some feelings. So prepare yourself. But the very, very number one thing that you have to do to get referrals is what? Good work, right? Nobody's going to refer you if you don't do good work. So at the very base, the baseline, you can't really ask for referrals or build a referral system unless you know you're at minimum meeting expectations. But ideally, step one in a good referral system is exceeding expectations. And oftentimes I find that it boils down to communication with the client. If you don't feel like expectations are being met, then you need to think back. Did we even set expectations with them when we were selling? Did we tell them what they should expect? Did we give them a nice visual? And this is something that, I talk about and do for our clients, or we have, roadmap. Did I give them a roadmap? Do they know what they're getting? Because to be honest, you're the IT folks. They don't have a clue. They just want it to work, right? How many times have you heard that? I just want it to work. So if you are not setting expectations, then you cannot exceed expectations. So the very first thing at the very base, before you even start to build your referral system, is, hey, what expectations can we set? What kind of resources can we give our clients the minute that they onboard? Do we have a good smooth onboarding process where we come in and say, here's what to expect day 1, day 7, do that. And then, hey, here are some extras and above that we can do to exceed expectations. Once you start exceeding expectations, then that's where the baseline of your kind of modern referral process can grow and build upon. And then number 2 is engage with your clients. This is a big one because once we get them, we all know we spend a whole lot more time on the sale than we do once we've acquired the customer. And who is the most important? Low-hanging fruit. It's a whole lot cheaper to keep a customer than it is to go acquire one, right? So engaging, communicating after the sale, you guys could, if you don't have a built out system for communication at certain touch points along the way, especially in those first 90 days. And one of the things that we do, I'll go ahead and share, we've got these really beautiful boxes. We're probably going to post it on social media, really nice gifts, some swag, doing things, a personal call from the owner, doing some things that don't take a whole lot of effort, but can really make them feel good and engage with them consistently, especially those first 90 days, if not consistently month over month throughout. At minimum, your quarterly business reviews, we know that you're doing that, but we all know that the QBRs are typically an opportunity for you to kind of do a health check, but also it's a great revenue opportunity. So we want to make sure we're engaging with them frequently without asking for something. That's huge right there. Are we engaging with our clients without asking for something? And then diversifying that engagement. Don't just email them. If they're not an emailer and all you're doing is emailing them, then they're not hearing you. Serve them content on LinkedIn. Serve them content on Facebook. Send them the swag. Stop by if they're local. Call. You're undoubtedly going to miss someone if you only choose one method of communication. So we want to make sure we diversify our engagement. And then assets for advocacy. This takes time. This means that you actually have to ask people for testimonial videos. They don't have to be fancy, but you do need to get a couple of your key happy customers and produce some materials, produce a landing page on your website, social media posting to your social media, these testimonials, so that they have opportunities to share assets for other people. Because what do people want to know before they buy something, especially if it's expensive? They want to know, is this working for other people, right? So you want to make sure you build up those assets so that they have things to send other people. And then building a simple process. We're going to talk about all this, but building a simple process for clients to refer. If it's difficult for them, then they're not going to do it. If it takes a whole lot of effort or time, then they're not going to do it. So you want to make sure we're building a simple process, making it easy for them And then give them a reason to refer. A lot of times we're not getting referrals because guess what? We're not asking. If you're not asking for a referral, if you don't have someone on your team dedicated to asking for the referral, then we're probably not going to get them. And then thanking them. This could be an incentive, a discount on their invoice, if that's something that they care about, a gift, a thank you note. Incentives work really well. Building an incentive type system is a great method, but these are kind of all the key components to that modern referral process. And so we're going to talk a little bit. Any questions so far? I have not been observing the chat, so let me take a second and look at the chat. Just see any questions. You can throw it in the chat and I can answer it. If not, we'll keep going. Everybody ready to keep going? Thumbs up. Keep going. Okay, great. Okay, so I talked about this, touched on this. Referral programs do, in fact, they are proven to increase lifetime value, an actual system, customer lifetime value. You want a system for your referrals. So here's why. Here's why you're going to get a higher customer lifetime value with referrals. Referred customers already trust you. Looks like I may have blanked out for a second. Am I moving or am I frozen? Frozen. I'll turn off my video for just a second and then there we go. Back. Okay. Referrals already, so there is a barrier. We've all felt it. When someone comes to you and it's almost like the last thing they want to do is be talking to you, but they called you. Or they came to you from a marketing source or something, but they get on a call and they're kind of cold, they're kind of defensive. You don't have that, most of the time. When someone's referring you, that shield of distrust, I guess is the best way to say it, is gone. And that's a huge thing. It's a huge barrier that is already eliminated. When someone hears about your business from a friend or a peer, they're coming in warm. That makes them, instantly more likely to stick around. They're usually a better fit. So happy customers tend to refer people like themselves. So you end up with clients who are easier to work with, need less convincing again, and are more likely to see the value that you offer. Spend more and stay longer. They tend to buy more upfront and are more willing to and open to upsells or renewals because they do trust you. They don't just close faster. They do turn into longer revenue long term. And then a great referred customer doesn't just bring revenue. They're more likely to refer others, which means the cycle keeps growing and growing. You're not spending ad money or spending a whole lot of money on other marketing, things, which, those are good to spend money on too. I'm a marketer. So, but this is one of those free things that you can do. Right. Okay. So when someone has been referred to you, let's remember they're not price shopping usually. They might, but they're less likely to. They're less skeptical. They're not coming in cold. They're more open to your recommendations because they know that you're the expert. And the first transaction is your chance to increase revenue right out of the gate. And a lot of telecom and MSP companies are missing that. So let's make sure we don't miss that. So, okay, let's talk money. Referral systems are arguably your best ROI that you can get. We don't always want to see it that way. I think that because this does take effort, a lot of times we would rather throw money at another marketing tool that we, can pull up a dashboard. You can also dashboard this, just so you know. If you have a good CRM and you're laying a good foundation, we'll talk about automation and systems in a minute. But if you have a good CRM where you're able to tag and make notes of things, then you can certainly start working this into something that you can visibly see in a dashboard. But you're not buying traffic with referrals. You don't have any paid ad campaigns. You're creating a better use of the relationships you already have. Referral programs are really cost effective. You're not spending, like I said, these paid search. You might be doing that too, and that's all great. But if you don't have the budget for that, or you want to build out another component of your marketing mix, which is a smart idea, then you're leveraging those relationships you already have. And the money that you don't spend, that you're not having to spend aggressively to get these leads, with paid platforms, put that into retention or onboarding or support of these clients. So businesses with really strong referral engines typically, if you have a good referral system, you typically will find around a 30% reduction in their customer acquisition cost is what, on average in this industry we're seeing. And that savings could be redirected toward improving things like retention, support, or your customer experience, which usually is as we've talked about, kind of the last thing that we think about, because we want to put I saw a graphic the other day. Some of you may have seen this. It's a meme. It's like a really big, clear, tall tube, and there's a hole in it, and there's a Band-Aid on it called sales. And you're trying to, but it's really a retention problem. And when we're Band-Aiding retention problems with sales, that's not going to be a long-term solution. So we don't want to do that. But best of all, a good solid referral program is self-sustaining. The more advocates you have, the more referrals you get, the less that you need to rely on a lot of other strategies. So it truly does scale itself. Here's a little train to remember our referral engine strategy that we're going to talk about today. The first one is going to be the scariest, and y'all aren't going to want to hear it. Some of you aren't going to want to hear it, and it doesn't apply to everyone all the time. So I'm not saying it's a must. I'm saying it's a good idea. But these are the 5 pieces of the 5-part referral engine strategy we're going to talk about. Get niche. Position clear. That's the scary one. Position clearly, offer strong incentives, stay visible, and automate the system. All of you just died inside when I said, pick an industry. And like I said, it's not appropriate for everyone, but niching down does typically increase this component of your business, and that's referrals. It opens up opportunities that being a generalist provider just doesn't. And again, there's a time and place for this. How many of you, put it in the chat if you already have a specific industry that I would say encompasses at least 60% of your revenue, one particular industry that covers 60% or more of your revenue. I'll look at the chat and see. No, one. I see an LOL from Misty. So nobody wants to hear it. Okay. So it sounds like we got some generalists. Okay, so that's okay too. And I have clients who have taken a portion of their business and they've still got their primary brand that's serving a general audience. And then they've got a secondary, it's the same brand with a little twist, serving healthcare or serving law firms. And that's okay too. But I will guarantee you that this is a way to get more referrals because you are stickier. When you're, I like to say, when people know that you're the best at it, then they know exactly who to send your way. So if you serve everyone, it's a little bit harder to stand out for referrals specifically. But if you're the IT company for law firms, it's a lot easier to refer you and you get stickier. And, especially when and this is across all industries. But for example, when my team is serving an ad, let's say Facebook ads or Google ads, when people feel like they're being seen and heard, and it says for healthcare administrators or for busy attorneys or whatever, that speaks to them, and so that does typically help. But so again, unpopular opinion, it's okay if you haven't done this. I'm not saying everyone has to. I'm just saying that this typically does increase your referrals. So when you go narrow, referrals typically get a little bit easier. All right, positioning. This is also something we miss when we don't differentiate ourselves, right? When we sound like everyone else. Say what you do in a way that everyone can repeat. And that means, we call it brand messaging here at the Business Growers, but you should have a one-liner. Love the book, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, if you guys are readers. Great book. Also a book, They Ask You Answer by Marcus Sheridan, to help with positioning and content. But have a really simple message. Say what you do in a way that anyone can repeat, especially your team. And I always say this, if you don't know how to say what you do consistently and you don't say it on your website, then how in the world is Google going to know? And how are you going to expect to get good quality leads coming in if there's no messaging consistency? You also need proof of results, case studies, statistics, client wins. People care about outcomes, not about services, to be completely honest. They just want to know how you're going to keep their stuff on. And then that clear differentiator. And this is what's tough. And again, another unpopular opinion, but it's very difficult for you to sell your relationship, how good you are at relationships. And that's what this is just based on doing this for the last 20 years. Everyone's like, we're so good with the customer. Our relationships nothing like them. That's a very hard thing to sell before a signature. You have to show them. So if that's your differentiator, I want to challenge you to find another one. Because that's going to be a little bit more difficult to move the needle. So what makes you stand out in a sea of other people just like you? That's going to be your hook. And we've got plenty on that YouTube channel I showed you at the very beginning of this webinar. We've got plenty of resources on how to differentiate yourself. Okay, incentives. Are any of you doing current referral incentives for your customers? Give me a yes if you are currently offering referral incentives. Okay, good to see. So a couple of different options for incentives. Tiered incentives are great. The more that they refer, the better the reward. So they build more, momentum as they go. Donations in their name to something, if they can't accept, we don't want to just leave them in the dust. If they're sending you good referrals. So really, good for people who aren't able to accept something, or value driven clients that makes it feel thoughtful and personal. And then, any early access, VIP. One thing that I think we don't think about a lot of times, but what if you had, just for people who are sending you referrals or building kind of some referral credits, some more exclusive time with you? Maybe it's a 1 hour power hour each week where you're solving some IT problems and they don't have to, submit a ticket, something like that. So think of some VIP things that you could do for your frontline support, something like that you could do for these people who are sending you consistent referrals. Great incentive. And if, some of them might work toward that if they knew they had dedicated time with you. Clear incentives, just like with salespeople, make it easier. So, especially if you have the bandwidth, or your web team, we've done this for some of our clients, have the bandwidth to build a portal or some visual resource center for them to go to and see where they are, see how many referrals, see how close they are to the next threshold or tier. That's even better. All right. Here's one thing that's tough if you're lean, but I have seen it work successfully. Typically, we've got a sales team, and then you've got your account management team, right? You might have people, or maybe it's one and the same. Some people have sales and account management on the same people. But a lot of times we miss, and then you have support. You have support, and then you got sales. But what if you just had a dedicated resource who can stay, in relationship with these these good solid referrals, stay in relationship with your customer, someone who's not in sales, but their job is, I've called it in other webinars, like a candy striper, for lack of a better word, somebody who's just nice and bubbly and can deliver positive vibes and, swag and things, and then ask, hey, do you know anybody that might benefit from our services? Or if you talk, that type of thing. Your clients have great relationships with lots of other people in professional services or whatever it is that you serve. So also, we talked about communication, send monthly or quarterly emails, teach, remind, be useful, don't be salesy here, show up on LinkedIn, personal profiles. I know that this is time consuming and we all hate it, but people connect with people, not as well with brands, and you're not going to get the same level of engagement. If you go look at my profile on LinkedIn versus the business profile, people are just going to engage with humans more. That's the way that we're built. And then use micro interactions. Take a couple of minutes, whether it's your brand or you personally, take a couple of minutes. And if a client or one of your clients is posting something positive about their brand, send them a check-in. Just thinking about, you saw this post, great job. Just do things that remind them of you so that they remember to refer you business, staying top of mind. And then a strong referral system really should keep working even when you're not. So sending monthly, quarterly emails, staying, these emails aren't asking, they're just value packed, teaching something, share a tip, be helpful. Again, continuing to show up on LinkedIn, using micro interactions, what I just talked about a second ago. So 5-part referral engine strategy: get niche, position yourself clearly, offer strong incentives, stay visible, and then automating the system. Automating the system, again, kind of goes back to your CRM. That's going to be, do I have these referral sources all laid out and tagged? Do I have a system to show me a dashboard to give them credit? basically on a regular basis. Do I have this person, I called it the candy striper, whoever it is, that's seeing who's referring us business and staying heavy on them? You do, again, with systems, I don't know if you're using HubSpot, and I know that we all use CRMs kind of interchangeably, but a good sales and marketing CRM that's keeping up, or whether it's in your customer, ConnectWise, whatever you're billing, whatever you're using, make sure that you have a way to create a dashboard and see what's happening. And then automation is adding some sort of trigger, reminder, something that lets you know when a closed deal has come in so that you can send that personal thank you or gift. Any questions about these 5 things? And I said I was going to have something for you, so I promise I will actually have something for you. But I do want to make sure we have open floor for questions. All right, here it is. My team's going to drop this in the chat. This is free for anyone who is interested. We have a 360-degree digital marketing audit that basically is, all you do is submit, the link is in the chat, all you do is submit the information that we ask. Thank you, Roger. Submit the information. We will take this actually, and if you're not serious about it, don't do it, because it does take our team a lot of time. But we want to give you some value. We're thankful that you showed up. We want to make sure that you get more than you came for. That's what we always hope. So we have a 360 audit, no commitment from you other than fill out the form, and then we'll get back on a call with you and we'll say, hey, here's how things are looking. Here's exactly what we see that you need to improve on. This is, from a digital standpoint, areas of improvement, areas that we feel like are low-hanging fruit for you that you could do, and some things you can take away straight from that meeting and then go into action straight from there. Some of it may require, marketing support person, but we want to be able to give you more value than you came here for. So be sure you take that link and fill it out. And now we've got some time. So I'm happy to answer any questions or have any conversation. Doesn't necessarily have to be about what we talked about, although if you have some referral questions, then we can certainly talk about that. But let me know what questions you have, referrals or not referrals, marketing in general. Come on, guys and gals. Saw some gals. Can I share this link with new partners? Absolutely. Max, thanks for coming. What CRM do you recommend for MSPs? Never use one, work mostly from referrals. So that's a great question. We actually have one here at the Business Growers that we use, that we've built for managed services providers and IT companies, that has everything kind of baked in. I like HubSpot. The thing I don't like about HubSpot, to be completely honest, is that they charge you per contact, and sometimes it can get really expensive. That's my love-hate relationship with HubSpot, but it does have a lot of great capabilities. But if I'm saying which one I like the best, it's going to be ours, which is called Scale CRM. But HubSpot is a good one. And you can have, especially if you're not loading a whole lot of contacts for like email marketing purposes, and just kind of doing a referral system and keeping up with your pipeline that way, there is like a marketing starter. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Y'all may know what it's called, but a good kind of cheap option to go from there. But I would say you could start with HubSpot, or certainly talk to me. We do have one as well. But yes, that is important to make sure, as you grow, whether it's with referrals or other, sales and marketing initiatives, the biggest challenge, if you don't start with a good, healthy foundation and having a CRM, is that you're not able to measure. And so if you're not able to measure, then you're not going to be able to see what's working and what's not. So CRM's super, super important. Pipeline, Roger said pipeline. Was that a question, Roger? You can unmute if you want to. Pipe Drive. Yep, Pipe Drive's a good one. Thank you. Vince, okay. We're terrible at marketing manually because we're all tech. This is not uncommon. So don't feel like you're alone. What's the best way to improve when no one in our team knows marketing? I would say dedicate a resource, even if they have another job. I would say if you know somebody who does have a little bit of bandwidth, who is capable of learning, and then I would say start looking at the YouTube channel that I provided. I've got some, like one of the webinars that I've done in the past, Vince, is how to build your pipeline without sales or sales development reps. So there's a specific webinar podcast about that. Just start listening and learning. A lot of the podcasts that I produce, and I just put that in the chat, are actually kind of DIY if you need to do it yourself. But you probably, even if you had a lot of techs, you probably have somebody who might be marketing interested. So you could designate that person, or if not, you could go look at your local community colleges, look at, kind of around you and see, hey, is there someone that would, be interested in interning? We've had great success with interns here at the Business Growers. We know clients who have get an intern who can just learn and start kind of doing a baseline of things. Again, two big things to start. The very first thing that you can do is build a healthy database. Like, do I even have anyone to communicate with? So creating a really healthy database, start list building, prospecting, and then putting those into a CRM, not a spreadsheet. That's the very baseline first thing you can do, because you can't communicate with people if you don't have a good, healthy. And one of our issues that we have, I know a lot of times when you start having a lot of different people in a CRM, is everybody's putting a lot of stuff in there, and it gets junky. So making sure you have a good, clean database to start communicating from, and then you can start doing email marketing from there. You're welcome. Thank you. Any other questions? Clients. Okay, Jim. Clients are in the enterprise space. Does asking for referrals work the same? I feel that referrals could be easier offered towards smaller businesses, but bigger clients may be more reserved. Or is this my own bias? I'd love to open that up to other people. I think that honestly, Jim, with enterprise, you definitely have to have a more sophisticated system, referral system, and a kind of place for them to go, because they probably have people asking them for referrals, or have a whole division dedicated to that. Anyone else having, good experience with referrals at the enterprise level? I'd love to hear from anyone else on the call. So my experience, Jim, is in that case, and we can talk about this since you are clients, so I'm glad that you asked that. But my experience is, at this level, you're going to have kind of a whole channel of marketing for these people that are busy and have other priorities. So it would be building a portal on your website for them to access materials for them, frequent communication, like really getting sophisticated with the newsletter and that type of thing, so that you can kind of start to build your own program. And again, that's where those incentives, get really important. You probably have to do I would suggest probably do a little, what would you call it? Like send them lunch, DoorDash, and ask them to join for an hour and do a little focus group on, okay, what incentives would actually motivate you to refer business to me, and start having that conversation. But yeah, let's continue to talk about that.
Thanks, Laura.
Someone says we found that enterprise larger companies go with donations to charities. Yeah, that's great. We said that earlier. That's always great too. And I think, regardless of whether it's small business or enterprise, is the more visual you are, like if you say, hey, we are rolling out our referral program for businesses just like yours, doing things like a webinar, for them, and again, recording it, even if they don't attend, you could send it to them and say, hey, we have a webinar, and have a nice visual that shows them tiers of value, whether it's donations or whether it's incentives or whether it's percentage off their bill or whatever, like really building out some visual so they can see it, and then you're able to send it to them. Like that certainly speaks volumes, versus just like, hey, send me a referral. You want to make sure you're building your credibility too with, hey, we actually have a system and a program for referrals. It's not just ad hoc anymore. Great questions. Thanks, Roger, Vince, Jim, Gary. Any other questions? Where do you get a list to call or email, not a referral? So just like a good quality list. Okay, my favorite, actually, I'm going to type it in the chat. I spelled it wrong, naturally. Hang on, I'm fixing it. Right there, if you go to that link, let's make sure it works first. Should. Yep. There's a referral link that I have to a tool called Coldlytics. The reason I love Coldlytics is, and there are other tools, Apollo, Zoom Info, that you might be using. Those are Apollo and Zoom Info are both subscription based and can be very expensive, and they usually require a long-term commitment. Coldlytics, you can actually turn on and off, and you just pay per lead. And it's human, and you get real humans. Actually, it takes a couple days to get the data because they're actually real people working on it. But you get a lot of good contacts that way. And I think they're like 50 cents a contact or something like that. So really good if you just want, like, hey, let's start with 500, spend $250, wait a couple days, and you get some really good quality leads. Okay, great questions. Any other questions before we head out today? You're a great audience, very engaged audience. Who's going to go today and start building their referral system? Yep. I think I freeze every time I do a thumbs up. Love it. Tim, it's good to see you too. Thanks for joining. All right. Well, you guys know where to find me because I've sent probably no less than 600 emails about this webinar alone. So thank you. Yep, you're welcome, Jeff. Thank you for joining today. So glad that you did. We do these every single month. The next one's going to be great. You're welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you again soon. And for my clients, I will see you in about 15 minutes on our client mastermind. I look forward to seeing you there. Hope you all have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Laura.